Let's go. Let's talk about it. Continuing the great month of February with always celebrating the Black history that's always around us. We've heard great things about this brother from Cravante, from Dre. Finally got him here on the Flex Zone podcast, stand up late with us. He is the one, the only Mr. Phillip Blackwell. If you don't know who he is a Baltimore native that played baseball and football at West Virginia University, drafted by the Baltimore Orioles and played 1 year with the AA affiliate Bowie Bay Sox, played 4 years in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Super Bowl 30, the Washington Redskins at the time, Carolina Panthers, and currently serves as a scout for the Big Ten, Big 12, along with serving as an NFL and UFL talent evaluator. When he's not doing great things on the football field and on the gridiron, he is the director of the local Baltimore Fitness and Wellness Center. Ladies and gentlemen, put those hands together. Get up off your feet and give it up for the one, the only, joining the Flex Zone, the legend himself, Mr. Phillip Blackwell. Put your hands together, everybody. There he is, Mr. Blackwell. What's going on?
Hey man, how's everybody doing today?
Great, brother. Glad to have you on.
I'm glad to be on.
Mr. Blackwell, on the Flex Zone. Let the people know who you are. How are you, good sir? How you feeling after yesterday's game? What's up?
You just said it. You just said who I am. I'm feeling good today. Can't complain. A little disappointed with the game yesterday because I wanted it to be more of a tug of war match. I was pulling for the not for the Eagles. I was pulling for KC because I wanted to see history, the whole three-peat thing. That's all. Other than that, we got a new position out there called the quarterback position. So, either way, I think we would have had a black quarterback, winning the game. But I wanted to see quote unquote history being made. Like I would love to see in my lifetime an undefeated team to bump off the Dolphins, 72 Dolphins to be exact. So man, I'm ready to go, man. How y'all doing tonight?
Man, we're good. I want to jump right into it.
Jump.
Wow. What made you think that the Chiefs didn't get a chance to three-peat?
That they didn't get a chance to treat.
Yeah.
They had a chance. I mean, they
looked like they had no chance, man. From that, it looked over in the first quarter.
It was. I mean, so I'll get more in depth with it. And one thing is, you got to understand that there's a coaching staff other than the players out there. The players are just the pawns of the game. So, can somebody somewhere, I haven't heard anything yet on TV today or on any type of media, give hats off to the defensive coordinator for the Eagles. He came up with a plan, and the plan worked. So that right there, forget what the offense did. The offense could only do what they did because the Eagles defense stifled. I just don't think the Eagles offensive line showed up. So everybody else was there, but I was proof that the game starts right there with the line. It starts right there. If you can't stop somebody, I don't care how good you are, Mahomes.
Nice.
I don't care how good you are. If your offensive line is throwing lookout blocks, you know what I mean? On the set, go, and they go, look out.
So how does that even happen? Because you would think that with Andy Reid, Spagnuolo, Patrick Mahomes, they had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, but now you're hearing reports saying that like Patrick Mahomes isn't the film buff that somebody like Tom Brady is.
Stop.
Here we go.
I don't stop with whoever said that. That's making up stuff. Come on, man. This guy was 2 losses the whole season. It had nothing to do with film. Like I said, I don't care if all of us was blitzing yesterday, we each would have got a sack. It was just a bad day. How does it happen? They're human. Would it say any given Sunday? That was just a day. I've been a part of that. I've been a part of that. As a winning side, I've been a part of it as a losing side. It's just one of those days. And yes, in the second quarter, I was like, game is over. The Eagles' game plan can't even be put in the. It can't even be put in the works because as soon as you snap the ball, Mahomes is running for his life. You know, so of course, you got interceptions being thrown. One of the interceptions was thrown as he was being hit. It's still an interception, but it's as he was being hit. Um, he scrambled one time and ran smack dab into one of his linemen who bear hugged him. It was just a bad game, and it was just one of those days that I'll be honest with you. I think the Eagles would like to have back. I said the Eagles. The Eagles. You blew somebody out in the Super Bowl. It wasn't a Super Bowl. It looked like almost like a scrimmage. Am I right, y'all? So
Yeah.
it was just one of those days. I'll say this, give y'all a quick story. We were playing for the national championship in college at West Virginia. We were undefeated. We were playing Florida for the national championship, and Nebraska was undefeated. Well, Nebraska had one loss, and who else was it? It was Nebraska and Florida State had one loss. They were playing each other in the Orange Bowl. We were playing in the Sugar Bowl against Florida. We're the only undefeated team in the country, and if we win this last game, we win it all. Opening kickoff, we drive down, we score on a post corner deep pass with 7-0. The final score was 41-7, and it wasn't in our favor. You get what I'm saying? And it just was like last night. It was very reminiscent last night. Nothing went our way. Nothing. No, I'm not talking about referees or anything. Nothing went our way. Our quarterback, Darren Studstill at the time, he got hit and so hard he was woozy. His chin strap was in his nose. He went and lined up underneath the wrong guy because we was in a no huddle. Like it was just like, oh my God, like nothing we could do that day was correct. And that was Kansas City last night. The game plan, all that stuff, they couldn't even get to the game plan just because of the snap. As soon as the snap happened, things went down. So I remember back in our game, we went in at halftime like, this is not the way you play football, let alone, I'm just being real. Like you're sitting there, you're coming up with a plan at halftime to just get something to go right. It's different in if you're in a fight and you're trying to win a fight. Like a boxer when they go to his corner, he's in a fight. His puncher's going left and right. But when you're in a fight and you haven't even swung a punch yet, and somebody's beating the hell out of you, that's what happened last night. It went down, and it was very disappointing for me because I said it was the Super Bowl. And I would have rather seen a much more competitive game, like last year's Super Bowl. Went down to the wire. But the blowout, and then we got into the halftime. It was just like, okay, hope the halftime show was better than the game. But that's how I feel. What about you guys?
Go ahead, Cravante.
Man, this is what I call this. This is one of those games where the team that's getting thrashed did not get off the bus.
Exactly.
They
offensive line didn't get off the bus.
Oh yeah. I don't know. What is that? I absolutely did not get off the bus. And one thing I always say is, I think the most important unit on any football team is the offensive line, because again, you said it earlier. Without the offensive line protecting, I don't care who you got at quarterback. It could have been Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, anybody, and he would have had the same fate.
Right.
But there was a shift in the Chiefs' offensive line down. I'm not sure everybody was aware of. I'm going to say Joe, was it Tooney?
Tooney moved the left tackle.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Could not stop.
And Mike Caliendo is the left guard, Cravante, the comedian.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in the game plan, what do you do? Because I remember the last time the Chiefs got blown out, the offensive line was jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
How long was Joe Tooney at tackle before this game? Because again, he's a guard, straight up. So how long was he at tackle before this game? Because you had to think like in the game plan, why are they not chipping? Why are they not helping?
Well, okay. So you say he was a guard. No, he's an offensive lineman.
Sure. Okay.
Let's just start with that. It don't matter. Center, guard, tackle. You're just better at one of those positions than another.
Okay.
Okay. So how long it wasn't in the game plan to get thrashed at all 5 positions on the offensive line. So we can talk about Tooney. All 5 positions were dominated. Okay. And I'm not talking about blitzes. I'm talking about your basic man-to-man, snap the ball.
They didn't blitz one time,
They
Mr.
didn't
Blackwell.
have to. No, I'm saying
No
they didn't have
blitzes.
to. That's why I said we ain't talking about blitzes. We're
So
talking
Pat
about
Mahomes can't beat 4 men? I mean, if this was Lamar, we would be throwing this man out of Baltimore.
They blitzed. It was.
it wasn't they sent a corner a couple times, but no, if your line is not playing any good, it don't matter who's back there. So no, your blocking schemes didn't work. Or let's flip it. Let's say the defensive lineman blocking schemes worked. You know, their attack schemes work with putting Mahomes in the box. You already know from all the film you got that Mahomes is going to step up in the pocket as he's supposed to do. But instead of maintaining the pocket, they collapse the pocket. Now, there's always a chance that Mahomes could get out of it, which he did one time. And guess what? He ran into his own lineman. Right? So, and I disagree with the Lamar statement because Lamar's quarterbacking is totally not even on the same level as either one of the quarterbacks that played last night.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Whoa.
Here we go.
What you mean by that, Mr. Blackwell?
Come on now.
Yes.
What you mean by that?
Come on. Patrick Mahomes has every beginning of every one of his seasons, it's AFC Championship or bust. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're a quarterback and you're a leader and you can get people around you to do the things that you need them to do, you're a quarterback. So let's go with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts just went to his 2nd Super Bowl. He won one, but he went to his 2nd Super Bowl. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How many Lamar went to?
There's been a none yet.
Wait a minute.
So I don't even think that's a conversation. That's a Lamar / everybody else who haven't been to a Super Bowl conversation. Joe Burrow's been to the dance.
But Josh Allen hasn't been to the dance either.
That's why he's not a part of the conversation.
So you at least gotta go to the Super Bowl, right?
If you want to, I've said each one of these is a different level of conversation. Who are we talking about? Are we going to talk about champions? So now when you talking about champions, let's give Hurts, which I don't think gets enough respect. He's been to his 2nd Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow's been to 1 Super Bowl. Joe Burrow's been to 2 AFC Championship games. Right? Lamar's been to 1. All right, but at least Joe Burrow has won one of those, and he beat Mahomes to win it. So I don't think that's a conversation. That's not even. We're not even on the same level when we're talking about that. Now, if you want to talk about entertainment, yeah, we can put Lamar in entertainment. But as your quarterback, no.
Wait, but all right. So
I'm listening.
Let me put a little pushback with it though.
Okay, I'm receiving it.
We're talking about a man who's, like you said, been to the AFC Championship game, all pro.
Okay.
2-time MVP, should have been a 3-time MVP. And we mean that because he has a different style of how he plays quarterback, that he's not a quarterback?
I never said style. It's not about style. I mean, come on. How many? Okay, let's leave Lamar alone. How many pretenders out in the league right now at quarterback that we can call a pretender?
About all but
about at least
7 to 10 teams.
At least
All but
15.
7 to 10 teams.
Okay, so we agree just because you're underneath a center don't make you a great quarterback or even a good one, correct? Can we get on that same page? Okay, now what do we want to measure this guy on? Does Lamar have the number one selling jersey? Yes. Does that make him a better quarterback? No. It's a popularity contest. Right? Now, is Lamar lighting it up in stats? Yes. But does he win it when you need him to win it? Are you afraid of Lamar Jackson?
Yes.
No.
I think you are. I
But
think
what
you're
about
afraid.
this year, Mr.
No,
Blackwell,
think,
when
okay,
he
wait a minute.
leads them
Wait a minute.
back and then
Okay.
his receiver drops the pass?
Well, that's a receiver fault, right? But we're talking about longevity. We're going to talk about the resume. Are you really, as a defensive coordinator, preparing to stop a passing quarterback or another running back? Because once you shut the run down, Buffalo, once you shut it down, you win.
But this year though, the Ravens,
Tennessee Titans playoffs.
But Lamar's a completely different quarterback from the Tennessee game to the Buffalo game.
Right.
Okay, that's maturity. That's
And he had over
longevity.
500 yards in that game. I put that on coaching, really. That was more coaching, that loss.
Okay, but stats.
Still
I'm just saying.
hell.
No, okay. So here's my argument. We talk about MVP. What are we basing MVP on? Stats? Like my number one argument, how can you be the league MVP but not the best player on that side of the ball in the league? You get what I'm saying? How can you not be the offensive player of the year or the defensive player of the year if you're the league MVP?
So, okay, I just had you reminded me of a conversation I just had with somebody that we know on the show, Professor Milton Kent. Mm-hmm. And he was saying he told me that for MVP this year he would have had Saquon, Josh, then Lamar. Do you agree with that order?
Saquon, Josh, then Lamar.
Then Lamar. That would have been his tier for voting. How he first, second, and third.
I can go with that.
Oh, come on.
Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. Let's put it out there.
Yeah.
All right. So I personally had a great, because we're online, I had a great financial gain that I predicted the Super Bowl in August. These exact two teams. Let's start there. Okay. Took all the bets I could get, and I got paid. I got paid for the MVP bet. Because everybody, especially around here in the Baltimore area, was about Lamar because they love him. Mm-hmm. But did he impact the league? I don't think he did. He got a lot of stats, but he didn't impact the league. And I'll be honest with you, if your offensive coordinator was a little bit better the first 3 games of the season, you'd have ran Henry more, and he might have been in the MVP race. All right.
You mean the first 2 games of the season?
The first.
I don't buy into that either.
Because the Dallas game, they
but they're playing from behind a lot too, Mr. Blackwell. People say give it to Henry. They're playing from behind, and Justice Hill was the back when they received. So those are he had almost 2,000 yards. I'm not gonna bitch and moan about Derrick Henry. I mean, what you want to run? We doing Navy? We doing a triple option? I mean, I know people want to complain. I mean, Todd Monken did a hell of it. Like, oh, give it to. I mean, you gotta.
No.
They made Lamar throw, and he threw it this year. I gotta give him credit. We did.
He did. He is okay. So is he better? But was he MVP?
Can you talk about that? You work with him. Can you let the people know you've worked with Lamar?
Yeah, I've worked with Lamar during his first MVP season.
Okay.
And like I said, what I like about him and still like about him, he knows that he has to get better. He knows that, I got to get better at being a quote unquote quarterback. But his natural instinct is to make it happen. And that's what he's been criticized on for some years for running, right? But I'm sorry, it's hard to do something. You've been doing this for 15, 20 years, and all of a sudden you're saying, don't do it. Okay? As we know, Peyton Manning would never run. Tom Brady would never run. They've been quarterbacks. They've been taught to be quarterbacks. And, of course, we can bring up race here. We aren't taught to be quarterbacks. We're taught to be an additional back that happens to throw the ball. So therefore, it's our nature. So therefore, even now on the NFL side of it, when we're evaluating a quarterback that runs, we now, well, if he runs, can he throw on the run? That is something that just happened in these past 2 years. It was never an evaluation. If you watch the combine, the quarterbacks never had to throw on a run. They had different drop back passes. They had to move around in the pocket if they was being blitzed. But now we got drills to evaluate quarterbacks that can, if they can run and throw. Okay, so I would say that's something that our race has changed, even with the scouting component, right? Lamar's accuracy has gotten a lot better, but it's not marquee status. And like I said, if we looking at an MVP, and let's go back, I mean, obviously some people who really mean it feel the same way because he didn't get MVP. He didn't get MVP. Somebody that really changed the game. You know, for the Buffalo Bills, did you prepare for their running back? No. You prepared for Josh to do what Josh does.
I got a question. I got a question real quick before you go, Dre. I know you got some pushback, but my question is: when you was helping them year two? Did you think he was MVP that year?
No. We're talking about at the end of the season.
Yes. Okay, so you thought he was MVP. So you thought he deserved to win
that season, according to what happened across the league. That season, yes.
Okay.
So don't forget, MVP is just for that season.
Right.
So when we're looking at what, like I think Saquon did a lot for the Eagles.
Yeah, he did.
He did a whole lot, way more than I think what Lamar did for the Ravens.
Wait a minute. Okay. So when you look at the statistical numbers of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen,
okay,
Lamar beats him in every category except two things. Josh was able to beat both number one teams in the AFC and NFC this year.
Okay.
And his record was one game better at the end of the season than Lamar. Outside of that, Lamar came from an 0-2 deficit, put his team in position to get the number 3 seed in the AFC. Okay. They won their division. He had over 4,000 yards, less than 5 interceptions. And he's still, and don't forget his primetime games too. And yet you're still saying that you wouldn't have had him over Josh Allen for MVP?
Josh Allen went further. I mean, where you want to cut the MVP?
Wait, you said regular season though too.
Okay, regular season. Regular season, Josh Allen had a better record.
By one game though.
It only takes 1 point to win, right? I'm just saying, if it's a close race,
I highly disagree.
I got you. If it's a close race, why did Josh edge him out then?
Oh, I think I know.
Is it this or is it?
Is it that?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And he beat Josh. He beat Josh head to head. Blew him out.
Yeah. And then the playoffs happened.
But
if we playoffs.
Okay. So they said.
That's
something I disagree with.
So if we're going to stick to just regular season, then let me have
regular season. Regular season, I think they went solely on the win-loss ratio.
All right. So exactly. If we're going to say that Josh Allen should have been MVP this year, despite the numbers and Lamar being the better quarterback statistically and all that, we can make the same argument for it should have been Peyton Manning should have got more MVPs, Tom Brady, LeBron James. You can the best player then could get it every year.
Correct.
So what more would Lamar Jackson have to do other than the record?
I think the deciding factor was the overall record because he's a quarterback. The quarterback, I think it was the overall record, and that one game makes the difference. That's why that's where the tight race comes down to. What's the deciding factor? Now, if we don't want to add playoffs, the overall record was that one extra win.
Even though he beat him head to head.
Even though he beat him head to head. I got one extra win.
And it seems like Lamar is getting penalized for having Derrick Henry when people have help all the time. There was a season where Tom Brady had Randy Moss. There was Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen. Like
James Cook tied OJ's record for most touchdowns for the Bills. I don't think people realize how good James Cook is.
Yeah, so Josh Allen had help. It's not like he was really doing it by. The narrative has been that he's been doing it by himself, and that's not.
No, I disagree with that. He's not doing it by himself, because even as a quarterback, when you throw the ball, somebody got to catch it. You know, there was a lot of receivers. We didn't know who they were for the Patriots. And by the end of the season, we knew Julian Edelman. Right? We do Amendola. The games guys we would never even know. But we knew because of Tom Brady and how much he targeted them. And even if it was just simple passes. You know. No, I think the deciding factor was wins and losses. That was it. Because stats don't do it. I mean, I personally would have thought Saquon would have even been higher in the race because of what he did to the league. And then I think because of this, he should have been allowed to break the record. I think he was ill-advised. And once he found out he was ill-advised because of the type of person he is, he didn't let the public know, they didn't let me know I was that close. Okay. But I think if he played for another organization who would have been all about beating their chest that one of our players broke the record, he would have been given the opportunity to break the record. So I just think Saquon should have been way up there. I mean, he was the talk of the NFL for how many weeks?
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the acrobatic jumps. I'm just talking about
the backwards jump,
the backwards flip that everybody talking about.
The backwards hurdle.
But I'm just saying, he is the reason the Chiefs are in the playoffs. I didn't say Super Bowl. And even last night, like you say, they had a game plan to shut them down. They did. They just didn't shut nothing else down. Okay, but I think Saquon should have definitely been way higher, and possibly bumped either Lamar or Josh Allen out of the talks.
I agree. He should have won if he
now we're talking. There's always going to be a bias. The one bias thing is Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson were quarterbacks. That was it. Because even if we just go on win losses, then if you get win losses, you would throw Mahomes in it. Just win losses.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you got two losses. So I'm saying, what is the deciding factor? Because it's definitely not just stats. And that's where I started off by saying my problem is, how am I the MVP of the league and I'm not the best person on offense or the best person on defense?
So I have something to that. So how much do you put in? Well, how much state do you put in all pros, being the first team all pro and the MVP? Do they correlate at all?
No. All pros are the voting is strictly the current players of the league and coaches. That's all pro. That's where the votes come from. When you start putting in with MVP, you start putting in the media.
Yeah.
You start getting situations. Guys remember Art Monk years ago, who wouldn't talk to the media. So since he just didn't talk to the media, but he performed very well off the field, never had a problem with him. He performed very well on the field, but they stopped him from going in the Hall of Fame for extra years because he never talked to the media. That's why players started getting involved and starting to have a vote for the Hall of Fame, right? So all pro, I like that even better, because that's the players who are playing against these people saying, Saquon is, we tried a million times, tried to tackle him, and he broke everything we had, or I'm out there defending, Lamar Jackson. I'm out there trying to do it. So that's the weight I put on all pro. Once you get the media involved, then you're getting people's personal biases.
Can you, Byron? Can you put back up what Mark has said about Henry? I'm curious about. I'm curious about your thoughts on that one.
Henry had the same season as Saquon. He had a higher. Okay, I mean, I go for that, but I think we could all let's come with the definition of MVP. What is the MVP? The most favorite person,
Most
or
valuable.
the most impactful person on the league?
Whoever these stupid writers vote for, Mr. Blackwell.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I hate that.
Because I'm about to
But
say, I hated Acho's explanation of why he voted.
No, I hate that he's a voter. I mean, well, yes, I hate that he's a voter. Yes, I said it right.
Yeah, that part.
And Jim Miller, who was a former Steeler. No offense, Mr. Blackwell. Yes, we know why you didn't vote for Lamar.
Who else? Dan Orlowski,
Chris Sims.
I was like,
Chris
what in
Sims.
the world?
Chris Sims, backup quarterback, and your backup podcast.
Probably
we're very salty.
But I just think that means we shouldn't put much stake into MVPs, especially for somebody like a Lamar Jackson, who's it's pretty heavy on his back that he's trying to bring a Super Bowl to Baltimore. Don't care about MVPs. He shouldn't care about MVPs. This is just a media / fandom back and forth. I think it's unnecessary.
Almost a popularity contest.
Yeah, but once you get people that don't, most of them probably have played some sport, but then there's a few that don't. So it's like, how much stake? I just think when the media gets involved, it's tainted a little bit.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
So
that's why I don't think we should even care. Like MVP is whatever. We talking about like Jalen Hurts won Super Bowl MVP. Like that's
right.
That's what should be. You know what I'm saying? It should be the thing. Especially Lamar don't care. It's just us. This is an us thing.
Right. And so for example, the NFL on the NFL Network, they have the top 100 every year, right?
Oh.
And the one thing I like about the top 100, they say it's strictly voted on by the players. Okay, so the players, each player gets a legit list of every position on the field, right? And rank every position, every person from a starter to a bench rider. Rank every person to how you view them individually, and then they collect all of that. Then they comprise of the numbers, and of course, ultimate votes. You start from 100 up to 1, right? And when you see that, Lamar's never won. I'm just saying the impact on the league. I think when we're speaking of MVP, is what is the impact on the league itself? And I think Saquon impacted the league a lot this year. Okay, a whole lot. Josh Allen, not necessarily impacted. I'm just telling y'all, I think Josh Allen got it over just the one extra win. They made it. They made it more than what it should have been. But I think Saquon got slighted.
I agree.
And I think he got slighted because he was the talk of the season from week 1.
Yeah.
All the way through. And now when you add it all up, of course, I know we're not adding playoffs and now a Super Bowl. That was your MVP of this season. You know, go ahead.
I was going to ask, do you think Derrick Henry would have had a shot at it in addition to Lamar?
I think in a different system, Derrick Henry would have definitely had a shot at it. Because they would, like, for example, it was definitely known by game 4 or 5, the Eagles were leaning on Saquon Barkley. Okay, I think if the Ravens would have linked completely on Henry and coming with the style of running he had, it was like, every game you knew he was eventually going to break one just because it was wear and tear on those guys. And when you're not running him, you're doing the defense a favor. When you're trying to get Lamar to throw the ball, when you call him a pass, you're doing the defense a favor. But when you got that big tank coming downhill, play after play, eventually it's going to break.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you were helping him year 2, one, how hard was it for him to transition fully into becoming a throwing quarterback? And 2, what was your experience with him as far as the man himself?
Okay, so first, it wasn't hard at all because the way he came, he didn't come to me. He was advised to come to me. just to see if he really wanted to change, his play. And we just worked on basic technique. Here's what you're normally doing, from holding the ball down here to now we gotta hold it up here. Okay. Working on all of those techniques that quarterbacks do, from your Brady's, your Mannings. We even went back and got film on Randall Cunningham. Okay. So it wasn't just, we want you to be a white quarterback. It's like, we want you to be a quarterback. Okay. Because eventually one day you're not going to be able to run as fast as you're running now. And then that's where those guys excel. Those guys excel when their youth is over and they still throwing the pills, they still dropping those dimes. And if you're not used to throwing a pill or dropping a dime, you're a temporary fix. Okay. Michael Vick went through the same thing. We actually had a good talk with Michael Vick. Michael Vick is like, listen, you're going to have to learn how to throw that ball. Okay. Some very intimate conversations he's had. So he came with that. So going to your second question, I love that he knew he was not at their level. He knew that. He's a very humble guy. He's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna make this happen. I gotta do this. And when remember old school G.I. Joe, if I'm not showing my age, but G.I. Joe used to say, knowing is half the battle. So he knows it. It's just that he is internally fighting right now his natural instincts. And his natural instincts is to run. Of course, he did not run as much this year as he normally do, right? But it's also looking at your future, looking at your bumps and bruises, which we've been very fortunate to only have one backup for the Ravens and this guy not get hurt at all. Okay. But my experience with him, he's a good dude. Like, he's good across the board. What we wanted to get deeper into is leadership. That is something he's still lacking in. He's still a player. Now the leadership that we're looking for in the NFL from a quarterback, he's not there yet. And that take command of your locker room. But also biasly, the Ravens have always had another leader, Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis ran the locker room. Which is very rare. And I don't think Baltimoreans understand how rare that is for somebody other than your quarterback run your locker room.
Right.
And now Ray leaves. They kind of let Suggs have it. And right now you got Roquan saying, hey, Lamar, if you're not going to step up, I'm going to step up, and he's stepping up in the right way. He's saying, hey guys, I'm leading by example. This is what we do on and off the field. This is what we do after practice. This is what we do together. But that's not his position. Okay. So I've heard some arguments go on between the two. And one of the arguments is, you really think you're supposed to get Mahomes money? That was a shut everybody up in the locker room question. Ooh.
Okay.
Like, how many times Mahomes has went back to the table and given back money so that he can now keep this train rolling?
Right.
You're not giving that type of money back, and then you're holding out, or you're in Florida opening up your soul food restaurant, and we up here grinding. So now, if you're not putting in that type of work, it just shows. Yes, everybody, we're winning games. I want to emphasize the word games. But everybody talking Super Bowl. Do we not know how hard it is to get to that game? And when we got to the AFC Championship game, when you needed a quarterback to show up, your quarterback didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? You had your player that was running, he was there. But when I need somebody to thread that needle, when I need somebody to get the ball down the field, the accuracy and stuff wasn't there. Now, therefore, you played into the defense hands. I mean, and my biggest problem, my biggest example is that, like I said, years ago with the Tennessee Titans, that game plan, that defensive game plan that they came in here with was so elementary school vanilla. We're going to put 8 in the box and don't let Lamar run. You're supposed to be a quarterback that I'm going to pick y'all apart then, and you don't. And when you don't, and they win, and then they go to the next game and get blown out themselves, I mean, we have to always go back to the position of quarterback. And that's where working with him, I was like, I'm glad. And I'm glad even now that he's still getting better. But he's now fighting for over time. You know, at what point when he can't run no more? At what point when he got a sprained ankle or a bad knee, as Mahomes did last year with a high ankle sprain, and was like, y'all better put me back in the game. You know, and he limped and hobbled, and he went in there because he didn't have to run, and he run when he have to. But like I said, putting them, they're not in the same conversation. You got one guy trying to get good at his craft and become better at it, and you got one guy who is setting the standard for the craft. They're two separate arguments.
Okay.
Let me have a little pushback because,
Okay.
I mean, even if we go back to his collegiate days when he was at Louisville, the man played quarterback. You know, I mean, it's a lot of perception about his first couple years in the league, but if you go back to when he was in college at Louisville, he played quarterback and won a Heisman that year.
Okay, and he won an MVP, 2 MVPs in the NFL.
So this perception, I mean, yes, he could. There are things he can improve upon. A lot of people could, but Lamar, we've seen him play quarterback. It's just that it just seems like because he plays it differently, he gets a lot of criticism about
I don't think it's differently. I think the issue is the downside is he's born in the wrong year. When I say born in the wrong year, you now have Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts thrown in there. Excuse me. These guys are raising the bar, and you're still here. That's all. You're just playing at a wrong time. So you're either going to be compared to these guys, or okay, you're an exciting quarterback. We like you. We run you. You win the games. But what's making these guys raise their level? I mean, come on. What Mahomes has done. Come on, was it 7 straight AFC Championship games? Whether he throw a pass or not, he's 7 straight AFC Championship games as a leader. I mean, and I'm using my negative eye. I'm going to say negative eye. I see the way Mahomes' team reacts to him from just getting tackled on the ground or whatever to the way the Ravens react to Lamar. It's not the same. It's totally two different. That's why I've never even put them in the same category. I mean, Mahomes is there. You know, I'm sorry. If we flip Mahomes' career with Jackson's career, what would we be saying? Don't even talk about Mahomes, right? We would be saying Jackson's our guy. We going AFC Championship or Super Bowl. That's it.
I got one final question for him.
I got you, but let me say this. So I don't think it's negative pushback on how he plays the game. It's not that. It's just that bottom line. Okay, let me say this. I'm a receiver. I was a receiver. I can run the best routes. I can run them full tilt. I can do all that. But if I'm not catching that ball, y'all don't want to talk about me. Okay? If I catch a touchdown every so often, okay, cool. He catch a winning touchdown. But if I'm not consistently being good at running routes and catching the ball and getting yards, you're not going to talk about me. And I think that's the unfairness with you talk about Lamar is as a quarterback, not how he plays the game. Bottom line, he has a passing category. He has a rushing category. Which one you really want to see him excel at? And it's passing because he's a quarterback, right? So when he doesn't meet that expectation, it shows up when he's playing in the tougher games. And when he plays in a tougher game, such as the playoffs, he falters. And maybe you're trying to say his team around him falter, but no matter what, it's on the quarterback. He's the face of the operation. So is he doing the things that other quarterbacks do? No, he's not. He don't take his receivers out and go train in the offseason. I mean, Russell Wilson do that with every team he with. You know, you got guys that are really committed. Same thing with Mahomes. Mahomes is giving money. Hey, everybody, we're going to go train. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do that. Hey, go get DeAndre Hopkins. I want him. Okay? Where's Lamar at? Lamar's just like whatever shows up on August, that's what we're going to play with. but that's not the leader of your operation. So it's Go ahead.
I'll let Punk go, and then I got one.
Just one final question.
Come on, man.
Do you think he's going to win a Super Bowl?
No.
All right. Well, I got.
Can I explain why?
Sure.
Can I explain why? I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl, because I don't think he's ever going to have the complete supporting cast.
So that would be a management problem.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I was going to ask you, what do you think he need? What do you think he needs to have to win a Super Bowl?
He needs a better general manager. We need to start to get some marquee players in here, instead of trying to develop everybody. Here's what I'm saying. Did y'all know who Rashad Bateman was?
I watched Maryland football, so I did see him run up and down the field with Minnesota. Yes. Fortunately, I had to suffer through that.
Okay. I'll be honest, I didn't until I got,
okay. I was up here raving about him, Mr. Blackwell, when we drafted him. And everybody was like, oh, he's a bust. I said, I've seen him do it. And he did it this year.
I got you. So I'm saying we're not getting the marquee guys. And there's a reason why. Now, Kyle Hamilton is marquee. Okay. We drastically miss Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah.
Okay. Going out and getting that talent, or convincing guys to come here and play. Because if you guys look really in depth there, I can't say names right here, but there were some marquee people that were free agents that said, oh, if the Ravens draft me, I'm retiring. I'm not drafting me. If the Ravens try to pick me up, I'm gonna retire. You know, you don't know that there's some people who will not come here, because Lamar is at quarterback. Okay, especially if I'm a receiver. So, but also I need a general manager to say, look, man, no, it's not like that. Come here, let me talk to you, that type of stuff. Instead, no, let's just penny pinch and go get people. Did we really sign Dion? What's his name? For what?
Seth Roberts, Willie Snead.
What? What's the guy we picked up from? Was it the Panthers receiver?
Oh, Deontay Johnson.
Deontay, what you sign him for?
I thought that was a terrible move.
I
thought that was a terrible move.
Okay, so look at the moves. Let's forget about Lamar. Okay, Lamar, where's your supporting cast at? Look at the moves that the administration made during the draft. I mean, the trade time, and look what Kansas City did, and look what the Buffalo Bills did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we admit that.
Okay. And I'm only saying the Bills in Kansas City just because we got to go through them too to go to the dance, right? Mm-hmm. But we could go to Philadelphia right now. What did Philadelphia do from the off season on?
Everything.
They've been doing that for years. They've been doing that since you was in the league, Mr. Blackwell. Exactly. Remember the Dream Team with Chip Kelly and Michael Vick, and then a couple years ago with Nick. They do that all the time.
They swing the bat.
Wait. You have to. I mean, this league is constantly changing, so you have to kind of keep up with it. But right now, the talk of the Ravens offseason was Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Like, that was the talk of the offseason. What did we do to better the team?
Well, they did get Derek.
Yeah.
Got Derek.
Mm-hmm. Got a healthy Rashad Bateman. Got somewhat of a healthy Mark, but
I think they need a close on defense. I don't think it's the offense, Mr. Blackwell.
I said supporting cast, not just offense. Supporting cast.
Because I mean, he getting $250 million. He got enough weapons. He don't need
I think it's both. I think I think he needs a Anquan Bolden type of receiver to, and I think that on defense they need a pass rush. Some people think we need a corner. I just think they need a guy who can get there, put pressure on the quarterback.
They're the number one offense, Mr. Blackwell, with all of this. The Ravens fans are spoiled. Yeah. I'm good on them. They don't need nothing else.
We go winning. I mean, I'm just saying.
No.
I'll tell you this, Mr. Blackwell, they will be even better offensively this year. Third year with the OC, Lamar in a system for 3 straight years. He's never had that. All his weapons back.
And an OC who was trying to leave.
Wait, well, you know
what? Only 32 jobs, Mr. Blackwell.
I want to leave from talking about Lamar to down where my brother is from and talk about that quarterback.
That's right.
Jayden Daniels.
That's right. You see him.
How do you? All right, you ain't. First of all, you done glowed up and like the smile. You smiling from ear to ear like the Kool-Aid man. What is it about Jayden compared to Lamar? Because you just like all ecstatic now. Like
I did. Oh, first thing, personally, I got to work with both of them during their draft process.
Oh,
two entirely different guys, two entirely different backgrounds. Okay, being biased on I know what the league is looking for. Jayden is it, and he's added some of us to it. Okay, a guy that that's did it from day one is all the money he was offered, and his mother was like, no. Yes, I don't know if y'all know that. His mother was like, no, there's no NIL money. You're not taking nothing in college. You're going to go be in college like everybody else. And I was like, doing a little background check on him. I'm like, that's kind of weird. But his mother was like, nah, we're going to do this. We've been doing it at this level, and we're going to do it this way. So talking with all of his trainers, during his high school career and middle school career, he has been a legit quarterback, okay, and working on that. So then when we went to his pro day, Lamar's pro day was a show, okay. It was more of let me throw a couple passes and let me dance around, let me do this and that. No, Jayden went in there and did that thing. He went and did that thing. So it was a difference. It was moans and groans from all 32 teams when we saw Jayden throwing the ball. Where from Lamar, it was, come on, man. Can we get this done? Okay. Two different people. So that's why I'm smiling. I'd like to see a kid be very successful at what he do and it pay off. And he's a great example of somebody putting in their proper work and it paying off. So now the Hail Marys and all that, go ahead, Commander fans. Go ahead. But I mean, we can go back to MVP. Like, yo, who did he get his team from nothing to something?
He got a couple votes.
Yeah, he should have. He should have. I mean, but what do you want to know about him? I mean, I really like him. I think he's going to have a long, sustained career. He's already invested into all of his receivers financially. He's already done that. I forgot where they're going, but they're going somewhere together in the spring. Marrying that team together, becoming that team's leader, becoming the team's, the face of the operation. It's just a total different. It's a total different comparison.
Do you think he's going to win? You think he's going to win a Super Bowl?
Ooh, I think so. And because of Magic Johnson.
Yeah. Okay. We can agree with that.
Because of Magic Johnson.
Wait a minute. Rise, do the smile. Do the smile.
I would say, once again, we said because Magic Johnson has first thing proven that if he's a part of the ownership, we're gonna go get what we need. And Absolutely. He did that with baseball, right? And has he not already shown just with Washington what they've done? Magic Johnson and his pedigree, Washington is going to get. I expect Washington to make some blockbuster trades coming up. I expect them to hire some people, okay, and get rid of all the turmoil that did surround DC. Last I found out, I found this out in December, like he was gung-ho with the going back to Redskins name, and the new stadium in Virginia. His number one concern was how far was it from DC? I'm just saying Magic is one of he wanted. He's in. We want to do this thing, and then showing that on the whim, nobody on his call. I don't know. Let me take that back. Nobody I know would have said they went to the playoffs, let alone the second round of the playoffs this year. Okay, So I think he has a chance. He has a better chance of getting to a Super Bowl because of he has the administration that's going to try to make it happen.
Wait a minute. I want to go back to a point you said. You said he's thinking about going back to the original name.
Magic Johnson, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
no. That racist name? No.
Yeah, it's their name though.
It's their name.
It's their name.
No. Can we
see? He's thinking about it. So I think if he does something like Ted Turner did, I don't know if you guys know Ted Turner is a Florida State alum, and then he's the reason why I still the Florida State Seminoles. I don't know if y'all know that or not.
Hey, well, I'll just say this, Mr. Blackwell. All due respect, Mr. Ted Turner rolling over in his grave watching those Florida State boys play the past couple years.
Yes,
rolling over in his grave.
And the owner at the time, it was the owner of the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, I was going to say the Braves. Yeah,
and they're still the Atlanta Braves.
Braves
Because Ted Turner met with the Indian population, the Native American population, and anyone pure-blooded can go to Florida State for free. So they were like, okay, we can go to Florida State for free. I mean, they still got to get accepted, but they can go for free. So that's how he was able to keep those names. Those owners and stuff and people who did change their names, they never negotiated. And I can see Magic Johnson negotiating.
And he's going to do it.
Yes. You're going to do it because you're putting them with us, and why not? You know, let's start to shed some positivity to it. But I'm saying, bottom line, to have an owner that really is going to invest in possibly going to the top of your sport, we know Magic's going to do that, and it's not just financially. You know, getting some off-season pickups. You know, you got to believe that Magic and the administration right now is looking at, well, we went this far with what we have. What's going to make us better?
What's going to take us over the top?
Because
they're literally right there.
They're there.
Oh, it's amazing. It's
okay.
Nothing to hang your head on this season. Nothing. You know, even I'm talking about get rid of the fluke, you know, Chicago Bears game. They legitimately played and they was in every game. Even if they lose that Bears game, look how much they was in it. And they wasn't even supposed to be there.
Well, let me ask you about his draftee, Caleb, compared to Jayden. Do you think that the Bears made the right decision by choosing Caleb over Justin Fields?
No, I think they drafted Caleb because of popularity.
So you think they should have stuck with Justin Fields?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Justin Fields the Bears are bad. Right?
Yeah.
So management,
they call them the Bad News Bears for a reason.
Bad News Bears. They were bad. And guess what? Before a manager or general manager says, hey, it's my fault, let me blame somebody. And it's easier to blame a quarterback because he is the face of the operation. So you got Justin Fields. You see the Steelers are probably going to keep Justin Fields and let Russell Wilson go. Russell Wilson's going to go to the Raiders. I don't blame him.
Really? A reunion with Pete Carroll? You think that's where he's going?
Of course.
That's my guy.
The Super Bowl with.
I thought Pete couldn't stand him. But...
No. God, we went to how many Super Bowls together?
You think Tom Brady wants that bum walking in his building?
No.
Think about that, Mr. Phillip. We talk about ownership. You know, Brady don't take no mess.
Yes. Yeah, okay. He does.
I think he's going to get a certain Aaron Rodgers, but that's just me.
No, I think.
Oh gosh, no,
he's going to get. I believe you go get.
Do Tom Brady's bidding? Yes. I
think you go to. This is me. You go get a Russell Wilson because you probably got your eyes on somebody in college right now. Eli Manning's nephew.
I ain't buying it, Mr. Blackwell. Nope.
Wait a minute, to the Raiders?
I'm not buying it.
Archie Manning to the Raiders? Oh, no.
I don't even know if he's good enough to be in the league. I think it's just his name, Mr. Blackwell.
Of course, it's just his name.
But these dumbass GMs sit up here and they draft these quarterbacks, and then they wonder why their franchises are set back for 10 years.
Didn't we just say that about the Chicago Bears?
Do you like any of the quarterbacks this year? You like Cam Ward or Shador? What you think about any of them?
Good question.
No.
I've heard people say that.
I don't feel it either.
I'll say
Mr.
this.
Blackwell.
Me neither.
I don't feel it either.
No, I think Shador has put himself in a position to have to get drafted.
Mm-hmm.
In a position to have to get. He's good. He's played to that level. But is he going to be my franchise quarterback? Nah. I think I mean, this is my biasness because of what I do at the combine and what I do for all the other leagues and everything. And I'm executive director of the HBCU combine.
Shameless plug.
Yeah,
No little plug. Okay.
Yeah, when I'm working out quarterbacks and I'm in game mode, I know what it takes to be good in this league. Not just from my own tutelage, my own okay, his step is 5 yards where one guy's step is only 3.5. Like it gets down to that technical. And my smile came on my face about Jayden Daniels, not because of what happened this season. This would have been the same smile last July. Okay, he's a kid that was already there. Okay, no, not Heisman Trophy. He didn't have a fanfare, as we were just talking about GMs. Getting people because of the fanfare. But Caleb, you did what in college? But also you can also look at who you played against. Like we could do a whole bunch of stuff. But when it came down to working out on the NFL level with an NFL ball, Caleb's pro day didn't even go well.
Right.
So you still get him. Where I think Jayden just didn't have the fanfare to go with him. Shador.
Oh, it's gonna be fanfare.
Father's gonna get it.
What he do? He doing
It's gonna be fanfare. We know that.
So there we go. Should he be in the NFL? The answer is yes, because this season, meaning this group coming out this year, when you look around, yes, he's going to be in the NFL as a backup quarterback. Okay.
Jam.
Yeah. Don't forget, each team needs to have 3 quarterbacks. He's going to be there. A starter.
Mm-mm.
When you look at some of the lower teams, all of them don't need a quarterback.
Yeah, that I'll give you that. Not every team does need a quarterback. There's only a few teams that probably need a quarterback. But then what about Cam? Because the talk has been Cam and Shador as the only 2 quarterbacks really out of this draft class.
I don't like the whole class at all. I've been honest with you, and I'm hoping in these next couple of weeks with the pro days that some guys impress us.
You don't even like Travis
Hunter, yeah. But I'm talking about the quarterback.
Someone's just talking about quarterback.
I was just talking about quarterback.
Oh, okay. Because I was like Travis and Gentry definitely.
Travis is going to be. He's going to make an impact on the league. Okay, he's definitely going to make an impact on the league. What he needs to do between now and then the 20 whatever this month, he needs to make a determination. How does he want to enter the league, as a receiver or as a DB?
You don't think he can play both sides?
You're not. Well, first thing, we've got to get the union out involved. Listen, the both sides thing is the reason why you don't see it too much anymore, because it's money. Okay, so you need to come in as something first. And then the team gets to decide to use you for something else, but then that's a whole nother negotiation. Okay. So, for example, y'all remember Desmond Howard, right?
Mm-hmm.
All we knew him was a punt return dude, right? Everybody kind of forget that he played another position, So they got rid of, if y'all remember, it was called specialist. This guy was a specialist, right? So those are gone. But I'm saying can he play both sides of the ball? The answer is yes. That's a definite. Will he? It also going to depend on what team he go to and what type of money they're trying to spend. But he needs to declare right now what is he going to do. So when he goes to the combine this month, he's going to perform as a receiver or perform as a DB. They're not going to keep him there multiple days to do the 2 different positions.
I just hope he ain't going to Cleveland. because I feel sorry for him.
Oh,
dude,
gosh.
You talking about the cloud that's over top of the city
Yes,
of Cleveland?
Listen, we just got rid of one. We just got rid of a cloud.
Cleveland, the Raiders, the Cowboys.
Raiders. Yes.
So
and the sad part is I'm a Jerry Jones fan. I'm not a Cowboys fan. First thing, I hate the Cowboys because I lost to them in Super Bowl 30. All right, but I'm keeping it real. I'm a Jerry Jones fan because I know what Jerry Jones does off the field for his players and for some of his fans and that type of stuff. He can be a stand-up dude on one end, but people ask me about him being as a GM or he's always in the way, and then I like to put myself in that position. I don't know if I was spending $100 million of my own dollars, I would want to say what I want to say. I want to do what I want to do. Because you got to understand, these owners, the teams is their side business.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them. This is their toy. Like, this is what I'm gonna play with. I'm gonna go own a team and play.
Shad Khan, Tony Khan. Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm saying. I mean, with that type of money, I would want to say and do what I want to do with my team. Yes, I might be in the way. So it's mine. It's mine. I paid for this. You know what I mean? It's like me telling you how to drive your car. You shouldn't drive it so fast. So you shouldn't put these type of tires on it. Or you shouldn't put this type of gas. It's mine. I'm just saying.
And if you want to run it into the ground, you can run it into the ground.
But I'm gonna run it into the ground the way I want to run it into the ground. Right. So, but you have some owners. It's their side business, but it's an investment. Mm-hmm. That's why we can only name certain owners a household name. Some of them it's just an investment. Let me just add to it. Look at the Jacksonville Jaguars owner. Like, let me buy an NFL team because I own the #1 soccer team in the world. Like, that's my real money. Mm-hmm. Let me just buy an NFL team. Why not?
Not real money.
Real money. And from an owner perspective, like I said, I know that some guys, this is just really what they do. It's a lifelong. Like you take the Mariners with the Giants and the Steeler ownership, how their kids married each other, and they married each other. And as a gift, a wedding gift, they gave them to a professional team.
First world problems.
I don't know about y'all family, but I know I'm not. If I ever get married, I'm not getting a professional team as a wedding gift.
That's tough,
man. That is tough.
So I got a couple more.
Go ahead. Come on. We're here.
Commanders. All right. Finally got that. We finally got our dark cloud, rainy cloud from over top of the DMV area.
Okay.
What are some key free agents that Adam Peters, Magic Johnson, and the squad could actually get to come in DC this season coming up? Some legitimate ones. Because I know they talk about Myles Garrett, but Cleveland not really, Cleveland not really coming off him right now.
Well, even before I answer that question, let's understand that you're not going to have a great season next year.
Right. It's got it.
Sophomore slump. Sophomore slump, because now everybody that you play got film on Jayden Daniels.
Absolutely.
Okay, they got film on your whole new system, your tendencies of your old coordinator and whatever.
Who's still here? Who's still here?
Yeah. Right. Okay. So it's going to be a little harder next year. Once we get through the sophomore slump, I think
the schedule will be harder as well.
So do you think Bryce Young? Do you think Bryce Young experienced the sophomore slump this past year?
Yes, definitely.
I'm sorry, not Bryce. Bryce Young, but also
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud as well.
C.J. Stroud, and he's the slump that still made the playoffs because you're in a weak division.
Right.
I mean, Houston, but also, like I said, that sophomore slump, if I talk about that for a second, it's real. And it's real because I don't think everybody know the support staff that these teams have. Okay. It's somebody's job right now to study Lamar Jackson Okay, and they're with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's somebody's sole job right now is to study everything about Lamar Jackson and Todd Monken's offense, and they need to have a write up by July. So right now, no one had anything on Jayden Daniels or C.J. Stroud last year. So now that you know some of his tendencies, a lot of his go-to stuff that was there last season for CJ, it wasn't there this year because some people already knew it, and I can say different stories for me. Like when we played against Deion Sanders. It was the Cowboys at Cowboy Stadium, and Deion was doing his Deion stuff, right? And from the stands, he partying, right? But when you right there in front of him, he was talking film. He was like, off left, pro right, on the hash, third down. And then when he finally got loose, he was like, y'all throwing a post on the backside. And I was like, oh shit, he know the play. Like, I don't know if my face gave it up or whatever. And they're like, they not throwing to you. And I'm like, yep, he is right. You know what I mean?
Yep,
I can't tell him.
I can't tell him that. Got me.
Look. And I wasn't at liberty to call timeout. And on the snap of the ball, he left me. And I'm going to receive on one side. He went and picked off the post in the middle of the field in front of the free safety on the backside. You understand? So imagine if he got film on C.J. Stroud. If he has that, he has a year of that type of film where it's already broken down for you, where you can commit just that. You're not just watching the game. You have somebody that breaks down. Here's all of their nuances. Here's all their tendencies. And I think that we talk about Lamar. That's what makes Lamar have to pass even more, because you already are planning on him running. So the defensive line, especially the D tackles, I don't know if you guys noticed, they aren't pushing up the field as far as they used to. They used to push up the field real far. He slip out underneath, and then now it's open field. So going back to what you're saying, I don't know the exact free agents that they should get, but I know that they should be just planning on getting through that sophomore slump and getting through it, because you guys might have a possible gold jacket in that McLaren. Keeping it real, you might have a possible gold jacket there, but also in order to have a gold jacket, you got to get somebody to keep getting that ball to them.
Sure. So one last thing. So we've talked obviously offline, and you made a career in football, but in talking to you, not your favorite sport.
Not at all.
So you I didn't know this. I was like, you get drafted by the Orioles. Like, when did this happen? How was it
sophomore year of college?
So you just up at West Virginia, just getting drafted and still playing football like that? Is that what we doing?
No. All right, let me go there. I never played Little League football. Never played. Actually, for the listeners, your odds of going pro are a whole lot higher if you don't play Little League football. So it's a lot of guys in the league right now didn't play Little League football. And the reason for that is the first 2 years of doing anything are your nurturing years. And a lot of the Little League coaches aren't the greatest coaches at teaching the basics, right? And remember, the word pro is somebody who has mastered the basics. So I never played Little League football. You tackle me as a little kid, I call the police. You know what I'm saying? We got an assault going on. All right. Basketball, I tried it, but I just didn't have the skills that everybody else had. So let me take the ball out. You know what I mean? Let me pass it. I ain't driving through the hole because they knocking people out in there. Don't forget, the basketball was a little different, So baseball was my thing. And actually, baseball is the only sport I'll talk trash in. And I'm like, yo, you hit the ball to me if you want, your batting average is going to go down. I'll talk trash like that. So when I got to West Virginia, and the reason why I went to West Virginia, because it was the only school that agreed to let me play both. But it was football is what paid the bills. Okay. Not knowing that once you get there, would pay the bills. That's what you're going to eventually do anyway. I was playing baseball, and I thought I was better than I really was. And now we had 4 people of color on our baseball team, and all 4 people of color played another sport. Our shortstop was point guard on the basketball team. Our center fielder name was Daryl Whitmore. You look him up, he wound up playing like 14 seasons with the Florida Marlins. He was also the free safety on the football team, starting free safety. Then Jason Williams, he was a linebacker on the football team. He played right field. I played left field. So the 4 of us, we were our own little team within the team, because we were the only guys that played another sport, and we were using baseball to get away from spring practice.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, I didn't have to work at like football. Football, I had to work. I mean, I was working, I was grinding, I was into it. Baseball was my thing. That was my get away from it, pat my glove on the leg and snatch a ball out the air and talk trash. So me and the coach got into it one day with my immaturity, and I wound up forget it, I'm done. But I was also from Maryland, from Baltimore, Maryland, to be exact. So out of the 4 of us, I was the only one without already under contract with somebody. All because they were from states that baseball was a whole lot. You always see guys getting drafted straight out of high school, that type of stuff. So all of them were drafted out of high school. Marcellus was our shortstop. He was with the Houston Texans. Durrell at the time was with the Cleveland Indians, and what's his name was with the Reds, Cincinnati Reds. They were already drafted, so I felt a little, fuck, because I'm from Baltimore, and I wound up entering the draft. I did get picked up by the Orioles and went down to the Bowie Bay Sox that summer, and I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
That's all right. Look,
Well, you would have fit right in with the Orioles last year, Mr. Blackwell. They couldn't hit anything.
Listen. I was walking up to the plate looking for that bunt sign, like, yo.
Yeah, I'm about to say, look,
give it to me.
Michael Jordan struggled, so it's all good, man.
Right. So after that, obviously I went, once I went back to college, I was just home for the summer, and I got to achieve my dream of being a Major League Baseball player. It was hard, and it was disappointing because basketball at the time, you went straight to the NBA. Football, you go straight to the NFL.
Right.
Baseball, it's a whole process. AA, AAA, single A. You gotta. And I was like, man, like, never dreaming of playing in the NFL at all. Finished college, and we wound up going undefeated after that. And also, I'm a big fan of you're a product of your environment. So I wound up being around people in high school that was going to college every year. Then I started to see some of these guys on TV or whatever. I'm like, wow, cool. That got me into it, just kind of being a follower. And then at West Virginia, every year somebody got drafted. Every year somebody went to the next level. So I got to see it, or got to see them come back. And I was able to ask those intimate questions, like, what is it like? How is it? What do you, why are you here? That type of thing. So I just follow suit. And then next thing you know, you're getting a call, you're getting a draft call, you're crying, and you're showing up at the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then once you're there, when you're there, you're still nervous because you still got to make the team, because if you're drafted after the 3rd round, you still got to make the team. I know the public don't understand that, just because you drafted don't mean you're on the team. It's just like backyard. I might pick you, but you might not play, So yeah, I mean, baseball has always been my love. So when I came back in the off season, I do softball here in Baltimore City. I played a lot of slow pitch softball, and I umpire now, and I umpire collegiate games for softball. And I just like being around the game of baseball itself.
Wow,
actually, I'm I just met with Adam Jones, and I'm Monday. I think it's Monday, the 17th. Yeah, Monday. I think I'm signing with him and his organization.
Okay.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and that's the organization that's out to better Baltimore baseball. Yeah. So I want to better sports in general in Baltimore. It's so bad. It's so bad. And being a scout, a scout for the Big Ten and the Big 12, being able to travel and see other cities, man, we're so far behind. And it go all the way back to when we was like to kind of talk about Lamar and just like, okay, this is where he come from, this is how he was created. But right now, if he could have had, if he could have had the CJ Stroud route, come out as a quarterback, what's his name? Deshaun. No,
Deshaun
Watson.
I don't know if y'all know his story, but y'all remember running back for Florida State. What's his name? Little short guy. Oh my God, this is crazy. Warwick Dunn. Warwick Dunn has his foundation where he gives single moms homes.
Right.
His very first home was to this little kid and his mother, and that kid is Deshaun Watson.
Interesting.
His very first home that he built. And of course, from that point on, he had a Warwick Dunn in his corner saying, I want to play football. And then he says, I want to play quarterback. And at 7 years old, he's playing quarterback. And look what we got. I mean, talking about quarterback. I ain't talking about off the field.
Not all other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Let me ask you real quick, because you talked about baseball. I got a nephew who's going to enter playing baseball at Lincoln his freshman year coming up. Any advice?
Why Lincoln?
He wanted to choose an HBCU.
That's a whole nother conversation. We don't got enough time, guys.
Well, no. I think I'm being real. What is my question to you to ask him? What is his ultimate goal with this baseball thing? Is he just want to get it to pay for school and play a little bit? Okay, cool. But if his ultimate goal is to have a shot at Major League Baseball, I think you might want to rethink going to Lincoln.
No, it's to pay for school.
Okay, so if it's to pay for school, yeah, I mean, I have no problem going to Lincoln. I mean, still, of course, he's a competitor, so he probably won't be the best out there. I just have been spoiled,
But he did have some PWIs, but he ended up choosing the HBCU. My niece chose a PWI.
Mm-hmm.
But
I personally only would choose a PWI because it's the easier route to that next level. And one of the things is the training, the investment the PWIs put into their athletics that HBCUs don't invest financially. And I don't care whether they have the money or not. I'm just saying they don't invest. So since they don't invest, it's hard to go there and pull good talent from it, because the talent there is not even being taught to be at the baseline. And I say that whatever the baseline is for that sport, here's the minimum. Like, better example, just for knowledge, the sorriest quarterback in the NFL throws 40 miles per hour. That's the guy that y'all never see his name. He's the third string guy somewhere, right? So if you got a guy in the HBCU, I think last year we clocked all the HBCU quarterbacks and nobody threw over 35 miles per hour. That's a big disparity, So, but yeah, if he's at Lincoln and he's playing baseball wise, tell him, of course, keep his skills up. He gotta invest that time in that ball. And by him being at Lincoln, let's go ahead and look for outside help. And you and I can contact him with that. This organization I'm dealing with, I mean, we're doing free training on the super professional level for disadvantaged kids, and that's even in college. Hopefully I answered you.
No, you did. I thought somebody would have had another question for you.
Lincoln. Lincoln. Why? I wish I was his advisor.
We'll talk then.
Yeah, because we're gonna get some money out of this. Lincoln not gonna give us no money. I'm just saying. And like I said, I wanna clarify. I don't hate HBCUs. I dislike what they're doing, what they're not doing for their athletes. Whether, like I said, whatever reason, I don't even want to say excuse, whatever reason, it's just not the same. And then I personally did not even hear the four. I told Creed this. I never even heard of the 4 letters of HBCU until after my NFL career.
Really?
I mean, it was I've always heard black schools, and I live here in Baltimore and Morgan and Coppin. I got you, black schools. I never heard HBCU, right? Always intrigued by them, but then when I started talking to athletes there, just on a personal level, guys my age, and my first time ever hearing HBCU, I was at a camp, and me and some PWI alum were together, and the HBCU guys were telling some HBCU stories, and we were horrified. We were like, "What?" And they like, "But y'all didn't do that?" I'm like, "No, I had a police escort to practice. I'm just being real." And y'all caught a bus from Delaware State to FAMU?
Crazy.
Crazy. They've upgraded, Coach. They take planes. Planes, and they do get police escorts now.
Not in the 90s.
Executive, I was 90s, but also the executive record of HBCU Combine, they ain't upgrade that much. Trust me, they have it. Some are still busting.
Yeah, look. Like I said, Coach, we can talk. We can talk.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
That's
a whole nother day.
My experience when I was doing media, we at least had those 2 things, and that's why I said, I ain't gonna bash them too much, but
I'll say this. I don't know if you guys know what happened last Saturday, but I was on the NCAA meeting last Saturday, and I got upset because I am trying to defend HBCUs to a certain extent. And I got upset because they announced the whole $24 million NIL thing to each of the Power 4 schools. Okay? And what I was saying is, you're just using the screen. If the HBCUs are right here and PWIs are right here, it's now going to be like this. And I've been trying to get HBCUs to better themselves, but that's just changing the culture. But that 24 million, and that 24 million comes with a full-time position. Each Power 4 school gets a general manager.
They said that was coming.
Yes, it's coming. It's here. It's a general manager to budget that 24, because that 24 isn't for football and it isn't for basketball. It's for every sport. That's why I say, we're linking, like we could go somewhere and get a couple dollars,
Yeah, because they said Bill Belichick, even for him at North Carolina, he's bringing in Lombardi as his general manager.
His former, right? Because you need somebody to do it, and I don't blame him. I mean, if you know somebody that can do this thing, because I want to win now. Let's just be honest. But that position has now been created. And it's just spreading the gap even more. I trained all the receivers at Jackson State when Deion was there. And being a firsthand experience in the Jackson State experience with Deion and seeing that how much they hated him. I mean, and they hated him because he was causing people to lose their jobs, because he was holding people accountable. But these were people who were losing their jobs, who had that position forever. How dare you come in and get rid of old man Joe? You know what I mean? Like, he ain't never done nothing to nobody, but that's the problem. He ain't never done nothing. That's why we got rid of him. But also to see, like, I know he's here to make everything better. Talking about he is Deion, and using his own personal resources, to make things better, and you're upset. You upset that he had a practice field built. How dare you? Because the
crazy,
the practice field you had was awful. All right. So he used his own personal name just because who he was. Like, can I practice at this little private high school down the street? just because it was a better facility to just practice on. So a lot of those things, when we talk again, it's about changing the culture. HBCUs want to ever change the culture, and if it was up to me, I'm gonna say something flooring right now. If it was up to me, HBCUs would drop athletics. If you're not going to do it, then don't do it. Right now, if a kid gets hurt at an HBCU, mama and daddy's insurance still pay for it. It's 2025. No, man. If I bumped my knee at West Virginia, we told mama what was going to happen, but the school took care of you. Right now, because I do Big 10 and Big 12. When I sign a kid at the Big 10 and Big 12, mom and dad's insurance now drops that kid from the insurance the day they sign. A lot of people don't know that part of it. You're now taken care of by that university. I didn't get contacts until I went to college. At HBCU, my mom and dad or whoever would still have to pay for contacts. So that's a whole nother conversation. Next.
Go Commanders. It's been so long.
What's next for you, Mr. Blackwell? What you working on in the community? Like you said, you talked about some of your programs. Let the people know how they can keep up or support what you got going on.
We got the CIAA Youth Summit. That's going to be on February 22nd at the Middle Branch Fitness and Wellness Center. It's a free event for the first 300 kids to sign up. Come in. It's all day long. It's seminars. It's not just basketball. We've been doing that for the past couple of years. This past weekend, I know we're talking about future, but this past weekend I just spoke at the Frank Glazier Coaches Clinic here in Towson. This upcoming weekend, I'm speaking at the Glazier Clinic in Denver. Last weekend of this month, I'll be leaving the NFL Combine to go speak at the Glazier Clinic in Detroit. We got the NFL Combine coming up. We got XFL workouts coming up, and the XFL is going abroad this year. So we're going out of the country. I got a trip coming up. I don't know where. I think it's England. I don't know. England. I do know the NFL's trying to do a game in Australia. So
I think 2026. I think 2026.
Yeah. So we do workouts in those countries prior to. We also do a lot of clinics in those countries to expose them to football. NFL has an international path where we grab some of their major athletes there, especially like rugby and soccer players, bring them to New York. We work them out. Of course, they get the tour of New York City and the NFL office. But we work them out and see what position in the NFL that might fit these guys. And then if we determine that a guy could possibly play in the NFL due to the athleticism, we'll now have him come and they send him to Arizona and they train and learn their position. So they'll learn how to be a backer, or how to be a receiver or a running back or whatever. So I'm working with that program there. But I think that's it. I'm busy. This busy time of year. We're going to do the Big 12. I don't know if you guys, last year at the Dallas Cowboys facility, we did the Big 12 Pro Day, and that was televised on NFL Network, and we'll be doing that again this year. And the hopes is to eventually do all 4 conferences as one pro day, one location. Well, it's not a one day though. It'll be a 3-day pro day, kind of like the combine, and where all the quarterbacks will throw in that conference together. All the receivers will run the routes. So we got that coming up. Then of course I got all my pre-draft stuff that I don't know. Background stuff I need to find out, but I don't know who I've been assigned yet.
Well, Mr. Blackwell, we appreciate you being here in the Flex Zone.
Anytime. Oh, hats off to you guys. Let me just say that. Hats off to you guys. Y'all are in it. And one thing I know about when you in something, you don't see it as well as somebody outside of it. Okay? So hats off to you guys. And episode 477. That's just a feat, man. That's a grind, and I'm pretty sure people don't know all the work behind the scenes. So that's what I'm saying. Hats off to you guys, man. Keep up the good work.
Phillip Blackwell,
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
Give
you.
it up for him one more time on your TV
Thank you,
screens all over with this draft season. Maybe we can have you back on, Mr. Blackwell, after the draft. Talk about your experience.
Let me know.
Yes, sir.
Say
Experience
less.
before the draft. That's the issue.
Once again, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Phillip Blackwell, put your hands together for him. Here on the Flex Zone, Mr. Blackwell, we're going to clip out this interview and we're going to send it over to you probably tomorrow. So look out for that and you'll have it for your records.
I got to
Appreciate
it.
He's stupid, yeah.
Hey, appreciate that, good brother.
Tell the Rockets
right.
hello. If you
Yeah,
see him.
I surely will.
Yes, please
That's
do.
a good guy. That's another conversation. He's a super
And
good
tell him
guy.
we need him for Mania if he you know.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Blackwell. We appreciate you.
I already know that. I went to
Once again,
in
Mr. Blackwell.
Philadelphia with him.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I was there. I'm not a wrestling fan, but I'm like, yo, this is something else.
Me and Roger were there in Philly, but is it true that his bodyguards were bigger than him?
Yes.
Sounds about right.
That's a big dude. Jeez. Wow.
I can tell you a story another time, but I actually had a fight with him.
Oh.
Yeah,
we definitely bring you back.
Oh, wow.
I actually put it on. Kinda.
Appreciate it, Mr. Blackwell. Thank you again.
No
and keep up the great work. Thank you. There's Mr. Blackwell. Big ups to him once again for joining us, stand up late here on the Flex Zone. And busy time of year as we get ready for the draft coming up